The wind didn't just howl around the cabin. It screamed, a thin, needle-like sound that seemed to bore directly into Jake's skull. He sat alone by the hearth, the embers of the fire pulsing like a dying heart. He had come to the woods for silence, but the silence here wasn't empty. It was heavy. It felt like something held its breath in the corners of the room, waiting for him to blink. A floorboard groaned upstairs. Jake froze. He lived alone. There were no neighbors for miles, and the heavy snow outside had sealed the doors shut hours ago. He told himself it was just the house settling, the old wood protesting the cold, but then came the wet, rhythmic, the sound of something heavy and damp being dragged across the hallway above him. Jake gripped the arms of his chair, his knuckles turning white. He stared at the ceiling as a dark, oily stain began to spread across the white plaster. It wasn't water. It was thick, darkening into a deep crimson that began to drip, hitting the floorboards with a soft, sickening splat. "Who's there?" Jake called out. His voice sounded small, swallowed by the shadows. The dragging stopped. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. It was a vacuum pulling the air from his lungs. Then a voice whispered, not from upstairs, but from directly behind his left ear. It was a cold, rattling breath that smelled of wet earth and old copper. Jake. He spun around, knocking his chair over. The room was empty, but in the frost-covered window, he saw a reflection that wasn't his. Standing behind his chair was a figure wrapped in tattered, sodden burial shrouds. Its face was a hollowed-out ruin, the jaw hanging at an impossible angle, and its eyes were nothing but flickering white sparks in deep black sockets. Jake backed away, his boots skidding in the puddle of red on the floor. He reached for the door handle, but his hand passed right through the metal. He looked down. His own body was still sitting in the chair by the fire, head lolling back, eyes wide and sightless. A single jagged line ran across his throat, steaming in the cold air. The figure in the shrouds leaned over the corpse in the chair and smiled, its teeth like broken headstones. "Don't worry, Jake," the ghost rasped, reaching out a skeletal hand to close the dead man's eyes. "It only hurts until you realize you're already gone."